Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another totally unbiased YouTube video. Today we're going to be going over the Dataslate for June 2025, specifically for Tau, and what that's going to mean for the Tau army going forward. So let's take a little look at what we've got. So the good stuff, we got a change to the army rule. For the greater good has now changed. You can now have multiple guided units per observer. You pick your units at the start of the shooting phase. Then everything in your army gets the guided benefit for shooting that target. This is good for resource allocation. You don't have to have a bunch of units out there just to guide, and you also get the benefit of more of your units are able to get the guided benefit because you don't have to use any of your damage dealers to be a guider, which is really solid for us. It's a lot less bookkeeping, and it's a lot easier to work out. You just put one unit out there. You know, that's the unit that I want to kill this turn. That's it. It's done. It's a lot easier to do. A lot easier to understand for both you and your opponent. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, this is what we wanted, right? So that's we're super happy to see that. So the stealth battlesuits have got a change, in the sense that their reroll 1s to hit and wound now applies to all units that shoot the target that they have observed, spotted, which is super good. It's kind of like a mini oaths moment, because you're applying +1 ballistic skill, reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound, ignores cover, and encounter Montcar sustained or lethals as well. So that's a ton of really good benefits there that the stealth battlesuits are doing. They're a huge force multiplier for us now. Across our entire army is a huge benefit. So yeah, stealth battlesuits definitely stronger than where they were before. I don't think it changes any list though, because in theory, because you are already taking 3 of them in every list, so you're going to continue taking 3 of them in every list. I think they're just more important. You're not going to want to give them up. Pathfinders get the +1 ballistic skill and +1 and ignore cover. When shooting at their spotted target. Important to note, they do not count as a guided unit, so they do not get the benefits attributed to guided units. That is to say, they don't get lethal hits in Calyon. They don't get the benefits from through Unity Devastation or any enhancements like that. But they do get increased shooting ability, which kind of makes up for the fact that they don't need to double guide anymore. I think that's fine. Makes Pathfinders slightly better at doing better damage, which is kind of the main benefit they have over crew Farstalkers, because they kind of both feel that large infiltrating unit role. So big up for Pathfinders. They do a lot more damage now, so that's really nice. And then lastly, the Fireside teams gain a bonus when shooting at spotted targets, not their spotted target, just at spotted targets. Which is fine. They don't really do any damage anyway, so it just makes their rule work, I guess. But it's fine. So that's the good stuff. Let's talk about the bad stuff. So we've got point increases on stealth suits. They've gone up 20, which is a 33% increase. They are stronger. That's a pretty enormous nerf, to be honest. Since every list is including 3 of them pretty much. Even a lot of Crew Hunting pack lists are including a bunch of them. So yeah, that's almost a 60-point tax. I mean, that's a 60-point tax on almost every single Tau list. That's hefty. 20 model Carnivore units get gone up by 10 points. It's a direct nerf to the Crew Hunting pack. Otherwise, not really a nerf. We've got through Unity Devastation has gone up 20 points, just doubled its cost. Presumably to cover for the fact you can now have multiple units that benefit from the lethal hits that it provides, and then coordinated exploitation from Montcar, the exact same thing, probably for the exact same reason. You can have multiple units that can benefit from the sustained hits. And then lastly, we've got Calyon swap sustain 2 for ignore, hit, and ballistic skill modifiers. Right, so these are massive nerfs. I can't really put it any other way. particularly the Callion one, is a huge damage decrease. Sustained 2, I think my suspicion here is that because of the situation that arose from Mordaka, I don't think Games Workshop wants any detachment to have Sustained 2 as an available detachment ability. And I think that Callion has been nerfed for that reason. I think Ignore Hit and Ballista Skill modifiers is a really bad replacement for that. Don't get me wrong, when playing things like Riptides and Broadsides, you will often have situations where Ignore Hit and Ballista mods comes up quite a lot. However, a lot of our units already have that capability. In fact, units that you want to take in Callion the most already have that ability. We're looking at Riptides, Broadsides if you take the Battlesuit support system, the weapon support system, Fire Knife, Crisis units, already Ignore Hit mods. So these are units that you really want to be taking in Callion because they get a huge benefit from Sustain 2. Not only have they lost that, you're now paying for abilities that they don't get to use because they get it from the detachment rule anyway. So it just makes those units way less efficient. Through Unity, Devastation, and Coordinated Exploitation, I mean, they're awful detachment enhancements. The cheapest way you can get them is by taking a 165 point package of an Ethereal and a Strike Team, and that's a move 6 unit that can, getting that unit for line of sight for observing is going to be difficult to begin with. The unit's really expensive. It doesn't do any damage. It's just never going to be worth it, realistically, for what you're like. 165 is so expensive for that ability. I really would struggle to justify that in any list that I took. And then there's the Carnivore units going up. I mean, if you were taking 6 units of 20 Carnivores, which to be honest is a lot. I don't know if anyone was actually going quite that far. That's 60 points straight away. A lot of these lists take a couple of stealth suits. You could easily get 100 points on, 80, 100 points on a crew hunting pack list, which is almost the biggest points hit of any army that in this data slate, which is it's pretty rough, to be honest. So yeah, difficult to stomach that, to be honest. Other things that are worth looking at, there's a lot of units that you want to take in these attachments that you're now disincentivized from using. I already mentioned the Riptide and the Fire Knives. Shadow Sun is another one that you, again, don't really... You're losing points efficiency by taking them. And it's just a bit of a... It's just difficult. You can tell by me looking at this, it's just difficult for me to stomach the situation that's gone on here. There's a bunch of weird interactions as well with the changes to For the Greater Good, as much as it has been simplified. You do get a benefit in the sense that it works for indirect now. So if you can get line of sight for on a unit, then all of your indirect gets the full benefit against that target, which and in Carrion you get to ignore the indirect penalty as well, because you ignore ballistic skill and hit mods. All of our indirect is still AP 0. It's all still strength 5, 1 damage. It's really not gonna achieve very much in most stuff is going to be saving at least a 4. You might kill a couple of models. It's just not going to be a game changer, I don't think. Even if you full on spammed it, I really don't think it's going to make a huge difference. And then you get the weirdness of you can no longer spot units that have come out of a transport because your observers are chosen at the start of the shooting phase. You destroy a transport, it's already past the point where you choose your observers, so you can't... Anything that falls out of a transport, you're just going to be hitting on 4s, which is another another difficult thing we've got to deal with. All right, so this truly is the monkey's paw. The finger has curled on this one, guys. We got what we wanted. We got our reworked army rule. It was simplified, but what price have we paid? Truly, Callion and Crew Hunting Pack are our most successful detachments by win rate, and they've had big nerfs. Particularly Callion has been hit really hard, I think, for this one, and I am expecting a pretty sharp win rate reduction. I think it's not going to go down to like sub 30% or anything like that, but I think we're going to be looking at sort of 40, low 40s for or less for every single detachment in Tau at this point is going to be my prediction. I think that nerfing an army that was already outside of this 45 to 55% window that Games Workshop likes to play in, it just looks terrible. It just looks awful. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say, they don't care, they don't know what they're doing. I don't think these things are true. I do believe that there's no one at Games Workshop that hates Tau, but oh boy, is my faith being tested. Last Dataslate, there was no changes, just a massive points increase on the Tiger Shark. The one after that, there was small points decreases to some crisis suits, but and some crude stuff that was kind of meaningless. It's just, it doesn't look good, really, and it comes off as incredibly tone deaf. I really don't, especially with the other changes that were made in this balanced Dataslate. I really struggle to see the justification for the points nurse that they've put in, considering the state of where Tau is. It's just completely unnecessary. It does feel a little bit that Tau gets different treatment to all the other factions in the game when it comes to balance. The balance team just seems really afraid of what Tau could potentially be, and it seems really unnecessary. Overall, I'm happy that there was a change to the detachment rule. It's going to make it a lot easier to play. It's a great quality of life buff. I'm really happy with that. However, I think particularly the nerfs to Callion, but also the general points changes, are just really unnecessary and borderline mean-spirited. It's incredibly disappointing to see changes like this go out when other factions that are of a similar kind of win rate, looking at Codex Space Marines, are just getting points buffs across the board, just general buffs across the board. Same for Dark Angels, same for Black Templars. And it's just a massive letdown. There are bright spots in here. The way the power of the stealth suits now is very high in terms of a force multiplier. That could be really good. But I'm not sure if, with the damage that's come out of Callion, I don't know if we're going to be able to pick up the slack with the other detachments. Really disappointed in particularly not seeing any changes to retaliation cadre. Really want to see some strat changes there. CP cost change to shortened blade. Some functionality changes to the other stratagems. It's just very very sad. But I'm not gonna just give up on Tau, of course. I'm gonna keep powering through. There's a lot of things that I want to try. I am interested in continuing with retaliation cadre for a bit longer. I want to see how removing the split fire penalty kind of increases the strength of the units with commanders in. My hope is that these crisis units with commanders in are going to be able to just kill 2 units a turn. Crossing my fingers. If we can get to that stage decently reliably, then I think we are in we maybe as a carve a niche for ourselves, and then maybe a new play style there. But I'm still not going to hold out much hope for Calyon, and it's an experimental prototype cadre has just kind of fallen flat on its face, because I don't think it deals with the issues that the faction has, which is primarily mobility, I think. But yeah, reducing the damage, that's not it for Tau. So yeah, disappointing state for Tau specifically, but I am really interested to see what you guys think about this, and more importantly, what you want to try. I want to absolutely steal your ideas for stuff to try on my Tau lists. There's a lot of stuff that I think could potentially get a new lease on life. Currently still in the stage of finding the problems and things rather than finding solutions. But I'm going to keep workshopping it and keep at it. But yeah, really would appreciate some inspiration from you guys. Yeah, until the next totally unbiased video, I've been Jack. Thank you very much.